Hello, here we are at the shoe healer in Doncaster. In a previous video titled £325 Barkers for £15, we mentioned about these Barkers, and it's a video that's worth going back and having a quick look at, and you'll see these shoes that were in there that a customer had bought £15 and brought them into us. Good customer, brought them in and said, what do you think? What should we do with them? How's this going to work? So we said to them, this is a great shoe, what are you going to spend on it, what we're going to do to it. Now they did say, I think we have a token to have these repaired at Barker's. I said, right, send them back and let's have a look how they come back. So they did that. They've been away for 8 weeks. They've come back now, these Barkers repaired, and we're going to have a quick look at them and just see how they are. So they came back in a beautiful, nice box. I don't think they went in a box, and they came back with the brush, the duster, spare laces, new shoe horn, and this is how they came back. Oh, beautifully wrapped there, look. New laces in the shoes as well. The uppers have had a nice polish, and they were, I mean, they were good when they went. And underneath, just like new. Look at that, really nice. Lovely stitching on top because they've been re-welted. A lovely repair. There is, you know, a little bit, but nothing around that welt worth mentioning. That is just as you would expect a new pair to be. £150 that repair would have been. So this pair of shoes that were originally, I think, £8, and then the postage and everything brought them to £14, 80, 90. We rounded it up to £15. They went off and had the repair, and we were saying, is it worthwhile doing that? Now, one of them, if you remember, one of them had damage in the back, and we had to open it up and take all the crud out the back, which was part of the counter that had broken up, and then glue it back up. When we glue it back up, we put plenty of glue in, and the glue sort of sets and molds itself and molds the leather back into a nice counter. So Rob's saying it was the other one. Yeah, it was this one. Yeah, you can hardly tell. You can hardly tell. It all went back together lovely, and everything's nice, and it feels nice inside. So we're actually we're doing a little bit of a forget about that as part of the repair. So when the guy bought them, that repair needed a little bit of something doing in there. But the shoe was really good, and they've been back and had the full repair. So now the shoe stands him at £165. We went online at the time and had a look round to see who was getting rid of, you know, some companies shutting down, who's having a sale, who's really getting rid of a pair. And I think Rob found the cheapest pair, new pair, at about £125. And then generally he was finding them around about £165 for people clearing them out, and they've got to be your size. These are places that they haven't got a full size run, but they've got some 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and we were seeing a new pair from them for £165. I'm right in saying that, Rob? Yeah, that was what they. So in which case it wouldn't really be worth having them repaired. But if you've got the shoe, you love the shoe, and you've bedded the shoe in, then it definitely is worth repairing. And having the back liners as well, you know, if that wasn't damaged and you'd been using a shoe horn, which you get a shoe horn with these shoes, there's no excuse for not using a shoe horn, really. You know, I know we all do occasionally just ram our foot into a shoe, but you should be a little bit more careful. Now, one little bit that Paul picked up on was the shape of this heel. The shape of the heel is a little bit out on them. And to be honest, as you're wearing this shoe, you wouldn't notice. But that heel shape there is a little bit out. And I don't know if we can get that. When you look down there, you see that is slightly out. How will that affect the shoe? Not at all. Not at all. But it is a little bit, you know, when you look at them both together, you can see there that those heels are a little bit out, you know. This one is narrower than this one here. Yeah.
Is that edge in it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a that's it, down that edge there is a little bit out, and for some reason there's always a clip on the inside and there's a little bit of a, but you know, the rest of the repair looks absolutely solid. Absolutely solid. So that's the Barkers. A lovely job. Yeah, you know, apart from a little bit of a misshape on that heel, which is nothing. I mean, it really is nothing. Unless you were really particular, you wouldn't pick up on that. That's a nice repair, nice job done. 8 weeks, I think, that they were gone. £150 at the time of doing this video. That's what they were. What we had in another video was a pair of these Barkers here, which I really like. Now these look very unloved. Look at that. Just look at that poor boot there. Never had any love, never had any goodness in them. Now this is how they turned up, and this is actually another pair that Rob has got hold of, and they were, Rob, you've got on here, what were they? 15 pounds. And as soon as Rob got them, he gave them a spray of his deodorant that he always does, but you know what, they're fresh as a daisy. It's a size 8 G fitting, and Rob gave them a blast of his stuff and took them out and did 5 miles in them. Was that right? 5 miles. No problem at all. They never rubbed. They never gave him any issue at all. I think Rob's been round here with a little bit of cleaner on them that's just cleaned them, but they were looking as rough as this when they turned up. Just a service cleaner, yeah, just a standard cleaner there. I don't know how much that is. I don't know where you get it. Yeah, £6 or £7. And all it did was take the surface muck out of them. Didn't take the colour out. The colour had worn out of them. The wear on the bottom is not too bad. Sorry, what were you saying?
Because they're an oiled leather.
Oiled leather.
Been waxed up,
yep.
So there's no point using
yep.
matter on them, is there?
Right. So no point going. Now listen. This. Let's have a look in here, because there is an issue. There is an issue in the back there, look, on the back liner. Can you see that? Yeah. And the other one is absolutely fine. But even with that, don't get too upset about that, because sometimes marks like this inside and wear in the back there, when you get your fingers on there, it feels a little bit rough. When your foot's in there and you've got your socks on, and you sometimes you never feel it. So, you know, customers come in, have a repair, shall I have back liners done? Is it bothering you? If it's not bothering you, don't worry about it. It'll be absolutely fine. Or...
One of my foot's a size 9.
Yes.
They're a size 8 G fit. I'm a size 9 now. I think, why on earth do they fit? Right.
These Barkers that are actually made, Barker International, made in India, they for me, they are fabulous value for money. I think the full retail on these is £225, something like that. It's you know, it costs £100 to fill my car up with fuel, 2 tanks of fuel, and you've got a pair of Goodyear welted boots like these that when they turn up, they feel really light. They've got this lightweight sole on. Just pass me a new one off the shelf if you would. Right, so this is this is the brogue version. The brogue version of this boot, and they look absolutely great. This is a size 7.5 G fitting. They look absolutely fabulous. This is something you should have a look at. They do a range of the Barker International, and I promise you that for the money, they're just superb.
Yeah, that's sold for the one that's worn. So
the one that's worn, okay, so you see how that's worn on there. Look, £235 is a full retail on there. Look, you know, but everybody will be giving you a 10% on those. Yep, taking some off the side there. But generally, that's not worn too bad. And, you know, cleaned up. Rob's going to get some of the sapphire oiled leather into them. This has got colour in it, so it will bring these to a nice colour. People ask about the 2 products from Sapphire. One is relatively cheap. Rob will know the price.
That one's £15. I think
£15.
That's about 20. That one.
That was 20, and they're both good products. Which is your preference, Rob? Which do you prefer?
Well, the coloured one I've got there is
coloured one,
water-based.
Water-based. Oh yeah, and this one is
Beeswax.
beeswax based, so this will shine a little bit. So cheap pair of boots, which these are, you'll be using this one. Yep.
It's runnier, it's easy.
Yep. Yep. So £15 for these, and you know, they're absolutely, when these are polished up, they're going to look like those.
I don't think they're ever going to really be polished up.
But yes, but when they're
brown cream on, they're
dressed up,
they're going to have a little bit of a satin.
Yes.
And they're going to look a bit better. But I probably could do with a dark brown one to be fair.
So people are going to look at these though and say, why on earth did you bother? Why would you bother with these?
Well, I thought the way I wear my shoes out.
Yes, you do go through them quite quick.
I can keep them as a winter boot, can't I?
Yes.
When I don't want to ruin any of my other ones.
Right.
I'll just wear them. And I'm sure I can get 15 quid.
Are you going to have anything done to the bottom?
Not for now, no.
Right, okay.
Wear them
Are you going to have anything done to that back liner?
No.
No, good. That's right.
I wore
15 quid, tidy them up, new laces, and away they go. Did they come with the shoe trees?
No.
Oh, okay. Bargain. 15 quid. Fantastic.
It's like 100 miles worth of wear.
Yes.
15 quid, so it's got to be worth that.
We've weighed these, and this XL sole is just super light. It's super spongy. You could go jogging in these. They really are. They're so comfortable, and there's a range of them. Barker International. Have a look at the range that they're doing, and I promise you, the only thing is they are big fitting, really big fitting. So on the G last, most of them are G fitting, I believe, but they're really, really generous. Everybody's dropping at least half a size.
Remember they were size 8.
Yes.
I don't know if it's because the previous guys wore them in for me. Because normally I'd rub like hell in a size 8.
You would, but they're an 8 G fitting. So
I've
that
never been able to get an 8 on my foot now.
if you've got a narrow foot, they shouldn't really suit you. If you've got a chunky foot, they'll be ideal. These have been. Yep, these have been. Rob's got quite a narrow foot, but he, you know, he would have expected to have wanted an 8.5 in these, not a 9, but an 8.5. But the 8 is fitting him really nice for some reason, and that might be because they've been pre-worn and they've been bedded in. But they are lovely. So,
a Newquay. I don't know if he said it.
It's what? Sorry.
It's called a Newquay, that one.
This is a Newquay, yeah, plain one, and when, you know, we're going to polish these up, you know they're going to look superb when Rob's tidied them up. And then at some point in the future, we will probably do a sole on them, and we will do a nice leather back lining up the back to repair these, put a new sole unit on them. If you sent them in, would be around about £115. Might be a little bit cheaper for this lightweight sole, but you're going to be around about the £100 mark. Then you'd have a back liner in them at 40 quid. So, you know, if you looked about on people's sales and, you know, maybe even Barker themselves, you probably wouldn't spend a lot of money having these repaired. It doesn't make sense unless you absolutely love them and you've got them bedded in and you don't want to bed in a new pair. But no, these have blown me away. They really have. I shall be wearing a pair of these myself. And this video won't go out until one of these has been polished, at least one of them polished up, tidied up, looking good. Yep.
I'll sit and do them in a minute.
Lovely, 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 lovely. Right, okay, so let's move those, get rid of those there. And next is...
Surprise.
We did a video and we mentioned the shotgun people, the... come on, tell me the name. Purdey, the best guns probably in the world, Purdey guns. Rob got in touch with them and asked them for a insole for his Purdey boots that we had, and I actually made one, but we're going to go back and put these in.
What did you also say?
I also said that they would not get back to you because, you know, some of these companies, they haven't got people sat about waiting to... You know, I've sent you a picture of the label inside my lovely shoes. Can you tell me when they were built, when they were, you know, and it must be a nightmare for some of the manufacturers. They just haven't got people...
I ain't got a cat and L's chance to get
A cat and L's chance.
I ain't got anyone arsing about with you to get this.
Purdey sent this here. Well done, you fabulous people. Look at that.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
Fantastic customer service.
Yeah, so these are the pads that go underneath there, and then this bonds into the boots. So we'll bring those Purdeys back in and put them exactly as they should be, with the original Purdey insoles in, and this lovely paper with the Purdey logo on, and yeah, well done. But listen, don't drive them mad at Purdey, because they're probably lovely people who you know, they've done this for you. They yeah, well done. Don't be setting them up for everybody phoning them up for a new set of insoles. You know, that they won't be happy then. Right, lovely. I think that's it. We're going to just see these when they're sorted out. We'll be back with you.